Meow 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 meow. 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 Meow meow meow. Hey everybody and welcome back to Romantasy Roundtable, a tale of Rick and Roses. I am Rick and I'm joined by my roses.
Amanda.
And Kim.
And if somehow you're still listening after that, please, 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 we'd always appreciate a like and or follow and a smashing of some sort of button somewhere on either YouTube or something. We are on the Bookstagram and the Books Talks. We have an email. It's romantasyroundtable@gmail.com. Hold on, there's more. Big shout out to our big fan Cindy, not the one that's keeping Amanda cool, but the actual person. Big shout out to Kim's friend Pablo.
Terry and Chris, thank you for your continued listens and engagement.
Terry and Chris, I was so close. I was right there. I was in the range of the alphabet.
Totally. And shout out to our dear friend Melody.
Yes. Oh yes, Melody.
If you want to be one of our best rosebuds, tell us that you listen to our podcast and we'll give you a shout out. Rick, that was really good. You did all the things.
I did all the things because I got sleep last night. Finally, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I got sleep. I felt all right. I got something in the mail today as well. But first, before I show you what I got in the mail, I think you have an apology that you said to our listeners, Amanda.
What?
Yeah, you said you were listening to our podcast last week, and you have an apology to a group of people.
I wasn't going to apologize on the pod. Okay, so I listen. First of all, I need everybody to know that I'm sick, so I'm sorry. And also that I don't feel like holding my mic, so it's on a stack of pint glasses.
From those are Alamo Draft House pint glasses.
Yeah, I'm going to sell them on eBay.
Nice.
I thought it was just one pint glass that you were putting.
Me too. I didn't realize
it was like 7 pint glasses.
It's my stack of, it's 4. There are 2 more over there, and it's my stack of things to sell on eBay, including my Tortured Poets necklace. Okay, what's my apology?
You're just apologizing to Nick Cage fans. That's it.
All right. Well, I was weird about the movie The Family Man, and I would just like to say that I have this habit of misplacing my anger towards things that don't matter because it's easier than being mad at somebody that I care about. And the Family Man is just caught up in that. I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. Nick Cage doesn't deserve my ire. What's really important is that I direct all of my hatred towards the Miami Dolphins and the band ABBA.
That's right. And as I told you,
what did ABBA do to you?
You know the story about my ex-boyfriend who told me that our musical theater piece was bad and it was an ABBA piece. And so I've just decided there's actually a fair chance that he listens to this podcast. Walter, if you listen to this podcast, let me know. I hope.
Yeah, Walter, we want to know. We still hate ABBA, Walter.
We wish you well.
I don't actually.
Some of us like ABBA because we don't have the trauma of you, Walter.
I've decided to forgive ABBA, just not the song Dancing Queen.
Oh yeah, that's totally fine. We can nix Dancing Queen.
Yeah.
From Canada.
But I do apologize to Nicolas Cage specifically because he's a king and he doesn't deserve to be caught in my crossfire at all.
And he listens to this podcast.
He listens to every podcast, actually, is what I've heard.
So what did I get in the mail, you ask? I got this.
Labubu's? No. Okay. Oh.
Is that the game?
It is the game. Priorities.
This is an audio medium. Can you tell people what you're holding up?
Sure. No, I was going to. It is the game Priorities Fourth Wing Edition. So this is an official Fourth Wing party game made by Hasbro. So it's actually a real game. And it seems kind of cool. I didn't open it yet. We're going to do that together tomorrow. But I'm just looking at the back and it's you draw 5 cards and it's sort of I'm just going to use the word Cards Against Humanity because it's got words on it and everyone knows what I mean when I say that. So it says you pick 5 cards, you rank 5 things from the world of Fourth Wing from love to loathe. Everyone else works together to guess your order. And then you compare the lists. Kind of fun.
Cool. I like that. I'm excited to play it.
I had no idea what I was buying, but it was a Fourth Wing game.
Yeah, you were just that's Fourth Wing. Did you buy that like in our office, and I was like, "What are you buying?" And you're like, "Nothing." Did that happen?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever told our listeners what we're reading right now.
Oh, we didn't, but that's because this is gonna get posted till like Friday. So I'm gonna like make a TikTok tomorrow. So
Bet.
this is like this whole time lapse thing that nobody knows about. You know? Yes,
I would
Kim?
just like to note also that the most recent TikTok that Rick had posted, which was him being goofy about Throne of Glass, in like a 10-second TikTok, has over 1,000 views
Already?
Yep.
That's crazy.
I'm doing a bad job cross-posting them to Instagram. I'll try to do better.
And guys, on YouTube, we passed 1,050 today.
There are so many of you that don't know us in real life.
You guys are the best. You guys are the best.
We love you. We appreciate you. We're also slightly terrified of you because, like, we are unhinged, and you're
Especially
listening.
Like, why are you listening to us?
Especially you, Walter. But
be nice to Walter. He's fine.
He's okay.
That's so mean.
He's okay. We love him. Like glorious bastards.
But speaking of things that are better than okay, this is episode 5, Return of the Poppy. Oh boy, we're back, baby. We are so back.
We are so back. We are reading a book which is called A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. Is that right?
I think so. I was gonna say like a flame of flesh and fire, but it doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
Akafaf. We're reading Akafaf, and it is factually
a book.
Guys, I felt so inspired by this read that I took notes for the first time in like 30 episodes.
Wow.
Oh my God.
My notes are unhinged, and also I had like 3 side text conversations with Rick because I was trying to understand some of the lore in one of the chapters.
I took so many notes.
Yeah, that's what mine look like. And then also I have like a really niche joke that I told Rick, and then I tried to tell our classes, and they didn't think it was funny, but Rick thought it was funny. So I'll tell it on the pod again, just in case anybody thinks that's funny.
Yeah, so we are reading book 2 in From Flesh and Blood.
From Blood and
Ash.
Blood and Ash. It's the Blood and Ash series. And
by Jennifer Armentrout.
Jennifer, you are a queen. I truly love you.
And a thing that I'm struggling with is that Rick is a troll, right? We know this about him. And I'm struggling with how much of this is Rick, like how much does he genuinely love the book and how much is he being a monster? And when I side texted him about the lore, which I think was chapter 6, I was like, I need you to stop and like actually be real with me right now because I don't understand what's happening. And I need you to not be like, it's the best. Like, I need you to tell me what's happening.
Here's the thing. I don't know anymore. Like, I don't know if I'm being real or not, or if I'm trolling. That's how much I'm in this.
I also felt bad that in our group chat that we have, I think like 3 times in a row, I was like, why are we reading this again? Also, like, Rick, how did you convince us to read this in the first place? And like, why are we back here? Like,
because you picked it.
I looked back on it and I was like, I have literally said the same thing like 3 times in less than 24 hours as I kept picking the book back up and just having the same feels.
All right, Amanda, you want to kick us off?
Chapter 1. Well, can we get like a brief recap of the first book?
Are you for real?
No, that's too much.
All right, let me see if I can do this.
You have 30 seconds.
Okay, so Poppy, she's the maiden. What does that do? I don't know. They need her for something, right? Then we have Hawk, who's the dark brooding guy. He's like, he wants Poppy and stuff. So there are Atlanteans, which is some sort of race of people. There's the dark one. He's the bad guy. There's the Ascended. Those are like the good guys, and they save everybody from the Atlanteans or something like that. Poppy and Hawk go on some sort of adventure. At the end, it's revealed that Hawk is in fact the dark one. He's an Atlantean, and he tells Poppy, "You're going to marry me." End of book 1. Did I finish? Oh, did I do it? All right.
You did it in 26 seconds.
Honestly, I think I hit every major plot point.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping for. You forgot to mention our dear friend Tawny, who is back.
He's back.
We are so back with Tawny. And
Lord Farquaad.
Lord Farquaad is there, and also somebody that Kim declared herself to be, Rylan,
Yep.
because he died first.
Rip.
All right, chapter 1, Castile, that's the dark one, formerly known as Hawk, shocks Poppy by announcing they're to be married, presenting it as a casual fact rather than a proposal. That's how the last book ended. Chapter of the last book. Poppy reels from the betrayal, recalling her childhood dreams of love and realizing how far this moment is from them. She struggles with her feelings toward Castile, once Hawk, whose lies have left her devastated. The revelation of her Atlantean heritage weighs heavily, adding to her confusion and sense of isolation. Despite her fury, she cannot ignore the complicated pull she still feels towards him. Here's what I wrote. Who are all these people? Okay, I stopped and read a recap. Nope. Who are all these people? Has the plan changed? I forgot how annoying this writing is. Her? Those are my notes for chapter 1.
My notes. Go ahead, Kim.
I said my notes were character soup, not the good kind of soup. Also, someone calls her a scar-faced bitch. And I was like, that's a low blow, and I hate it.
Right. I don't like Poppy, but I will fight someone for that.
Absolutely. Also, at the end of this chapter, he tears someone's heart out. Castile, Hawk, whatever we're going to refer to him as moving forward. And so I was like, how does someone who is this violent, who is literally tearing someone else's heart out, equal somebody that you would want to marry and or be attracted to? That's horrific. Those are my notes.
So I don't know if you guys are doing the Romantasy circle jerk on Reddit.
Bingo. No.
So they're doing a bingo. I'm doing it loosely just because I think it's funny. I'm done achieving. I'm done reading to achieve. But one of the squares is the male main character literally commits war crimes. And so I think this book is going to count for that square.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the movie where they rip someone's heart out? Which movie is that?
Indiana Jones.
It's Indiana Jones, right? That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones. Nightmares as a small child.
Yeah.
Wow. You know a movie? My notes are, we are so back. She's the maiden. What that do again? Who are the Atlanteans? Is Castile a Wolven? No. Wolven. Jericho. He was a guy. They're going to use her to free Malik. That's Castile's bro. Castile just ripping people's hearts out. I'm with that. Finally, someone who doesn't give a fuck. He's just ripping people, you know?
That's fair. I do feel like we have these like morally gray main characters that like aren't morally gray. They're just depressed. Right. And like this man's morally gray.
Yeah.
Yeah. A man with feelings is not morally gray. He's just a man with feelings.
Also, tell me how when you keep going with the notes, let me know how you feel. I did I tried a different method this time. I think it worked.
Okay. Yeah, so he rips somebody's heart out. That's crazy. Atlanteans are like the original vampires, and then the vampires are like the fake vampires, and then there are different kinds of Atlanteans. And a Wolven is a kind of Atlantean.
Oh yeah, baby.
And the bestie's name is Kieran.
Yes.
He's a Wolven. And then other than that, I don't know who any of these people are.
It's the Always Sunny Charlie meme with like all the strings in the back. It's so good.
Chapter 2. During a banquet, Landell, who the fuck is that, insults and threatens Poppy, calling her unworthy. Castile brutally kills him by ripping out his heart in front of everybody, a shocking display of power and violence. While the room reacts with fear, Castile calmly asserts that no one will disrespect or threaten her and live. Poppy is horrified by the brutality, but unsettled by his fierce protectiveness. The event cements Castile's dominance and complicates Poppy's perception of him. This description just goes to show that nothing happens in this book, ever.
It doesn't.
Correct, right?
My note for this chapter is Penelope. Her name is Penelope, and it's like I'm being reunited with old friends. I put Alistair's here. Who's he? Who's Alistair? He's some sort of uncle advisor-ish. I don't know.
He's Victor 2.0.
Yeah, he's daddy issues. He's daddy issues. But his name is Alistair. Alastier. Everyone in this book, their name is just one letter off from normal. Like even Malik is like spelled a little weird.
Right.
Castile is a little weird. Like it should be Castile in my humble opinion. I don't know. Yeah, I wrote that. It's also Castile says something kind of good here, and this is going to be my journey with this book, where
His
I'm
name
like,
is Cass.
this book is stupid. Oh, there's something good here. Oh my God, why is it written like this? What's happening? And so he says to Poppy, she's like, I'm gonna like, what do you mean? Like, I don't marry me, set me free. And he said, I don't believe you would even recognize freedom if it were ever offered to you. And I think that's a really important point, that like she was the maiden and now she's kind of like betrothed to Cass. And she doesn't really like, none of the paths that have been offered to her at any point in the plan of like her being collateral or whatever have ever been freedom. So I think that's important. It's insinuated that in this chapter that Cass killed the first maiden, but we don't know. We'll learn more about that in a couple chapters. And Kieran tells her, you and only you never have to fear him, which is like, what?
Right.
I still don't think we know the answer to that.
This reminds me that I had made a prediction in book one. This is before I was a book. This was when I was a movie. That
You were a short story.
I was a short story. That I don't think that the original maiden is dead, and that when they say they killed her, it's like a Darth Vader situation. Where like she's dead, but someone else is like, I don't think she's dead.
I don't think she exists.
I think she exists, but they didn't
she's a
kill
myth.
her, as in like you know when Obi-Wan was like, Darth Vader killed your father.
Or she's like Malik, and what apparently the Ascended were possibly going to turn Poppy into, which is that she's like the feeding station to create new vampires.
She's a juice box.
A juice box, yes.
Capri Sun.
Chocolate milk with a straw.
Ugh. Chapter 3. Poppy reflects on Castile's identity as the Dark One and the terrifying ease with which he killed. These notes are extra. She grapples with the contrast between the man she once knew as Hawk and the ruthless prince before her. Kieran attempts to reassure her that while others should feel Castile, she does not need to. Are these notes in the right order?
Are they not?
This was the end of chapter.
Woof.
Hey.
Agreed. Stop it.
Can you get it together?
Should I try to go again? Should I try to do it again while you're talking?
Yeah, I think we're just like the things that are happening at the beginning of chapter 3 actually happen at the end of chapter 2 and the same thing.
I mean, it's in order-ish. And also, I think, Amanda, as you already noted too, what really happens?
Nothing happens.
We stop when we see 13, right?
We stop when we see 13, and what happens before?
No,
all right.
Not a lot happens in 13 chapters.
Poppy is grappling with the contrast between the man she once knew as Hawk and the ruthless prince before her. Kieran attempts to reassure her that while others should fear Castile, she does not need to. Poppy remains torn, furious over his lies, yet unsettled by her enduring connection to him. This chapter emphasizes her mistrust and internal conflict. I would argue this whole book emphasizes her mistrust and internal conflict.
Okay, so here's my big note from whether it's this chapter or at least like this far when I had gotten into the reading, is why are we just reading the inner monologue of a middle schooler? We are literally reading the inner monologue of like a 13-year-old throughout all these chapters.
I love him. I hate him. I love him. I hate him.
Batty.
My one onto that, my one note for this chapter was, I quoted her and I texted this to you. Poppy says, I wasn't that stupid. I was like, okay, Poppy, sure, whatever. This is when she's sneaking out of the castle.
Yeah.
She's sneaking out of the castle to run away, and she's like, should I go with the horses? I'm not that stupid. I'm like, yes, you are. Yes, you are that stupid. I missed how dumb Poppy was.
Yeah.
I don't know how she thinks she can escape Wolven and Castile. All right, sorry, go ahead.
So she's in this chapter, she's talking about her brother. So her brother Ian ascended and is married and is like writing her letters. And so she's like, now she knows that the ascension, I'll get into this in chapter 6 because that's when I think I understood it. But the ascension means he's a vampire, and which is like a vampire, but but worse because Jennifer Armentrout wrote it. And because everything is one letter off. So she wants to get to Ian somehow. So that's like her motivation. So at this point I wrote, can you save an Ascendant? I think that's a really good question that I don't think we'll answer in this book or perhaps ever, because this series is 9 books long. But I also think it's important to note that she steals a knife, what I would commonly refer to as a steak knife, but she refers to it for the foreseeable future as a meat knife.
Yeah.
Which is horrifying. It's horrifying. I also cut out a section that I would like to read verbatim, if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah, please.
Only the gods knew what lived in these woods. Knowing my luck, probably a cantankerous family of very large, very hungry bears. I'd never seen a bear before, though, so that would be kind of an amazing sight to behold right before it chewed off my face. But at least I doubted, and then she gets cut off because Castile shows up.
I love that.
I have a couple quotes here too, and they're not as good as that one. That one's actually incredibly good. Thank you for that, Amanda.
You're so welcome. I read it to our class too, to Rick and my class.
But she says at some point in this chapter, there is something so wrong with you. And I was like, what? And I also referred to her in my notes as being more awkward than I am. So thank you, Poppy, for helping reaffirm my own self-confidence.
Here for
use these new notes.
We have a student who, like, if we're a book, like this student is a book.
Yeah.
She's reading, what's she reading? She's reading Tolstoy.
She's fucking reading Tolstoy.
She's reading Tolstoy. We had to tell her to put her Tolstoy away in class. It was crazy. I don't have the notes yet, so I'm just going to yap about this. So we were complaining about this, and she's like, oh, what book are you reading? And I was like, oh, honey, sweetie, no, we're not reading. You're reading a book. We're reading
garbage.
And so I read this section to her, and she was like, what?
Okay, before you get to the notes, I do want to talk about Ian, just because I feel like he was brought up, of course, in the first book, but it feels like she very suddenly cares a ton about him.
Yes.
And did not in the first book. And that feels like a shift that didn't make sense to me, where she's suddenly like, oh, I am so focused on finding my brother and making sure he's okay and saving him. And it's like, babe, I don't think you really cared about him in the first book. You mentioned you had a brother, and that's like the end of it.
I think it's because my girl Jennifer realized she went nowhere in that book, and now she's like, let's give it a direction. Let's find Ian.
Let's find Ian. These new notes are unhinged.
I gave it a real good prompt.
I'm dying to know what you said to it, but I'm going to read them first so our listeners can hear them. So I'm just going to reread chapter 3 because I do think this gives a better summary of chapter 3. The escaped attempt is on. Poppy makes a desperate run for it. She's fierce and resourceful, but reality hits when she faces the danger outside, including the ever-present Craven. We haven't talked about the Craven yet. The Craven are like zombie vampires. They're like deranged and like not really human anymore, and they can't control their bloodlust. And if they bite you, you also become a Craven. So they're zombie vampires. Except Poppy, who was bitten by Craven and survived, which is like ostensibly why she became the maiden. Despite her determination, the odds are impossible. It's a moment that shows just how badly she craves freedom, even at great risk. Even when everything is stacked against her, Poppy still chooses courage over comfort. Queen behavior. What did you say first of all, is this Gemini or ChatGPT?
This is ChatGPT.
What did you say to Lyric? What have you done to her?
Is this your character that you created?
No. So the first time I gave it a doc, like a Google Doc, it did seem to read the PDF this time. So I gave it the PDF of the first couple chapters, and it gave me a great chapter by chapter summary. And I said, not good enough. I said, look at the document again, add one sentence to each chapter summary, and throw in some fun things about why Poppy is the best, awesome, amazing, etc.
Cool.
We're in for a ride.
We love factual nonfiction. All right, chapter 4. Poppy and Castile clash head-on after her failed escape. There's fighting, banter, and a grudging acknowledgement that neither will back down easily. He disarms her physically, but she's relentless with her words. Their relationship feels like a constant tug-of-war, with Castile strangely amused by her fire. Poppy's sarcasm and stubbornness are basically superpowers, and she wields them like weapons. Here are my notes for this chapter. I'm going to repeat myself. No, I won't. No, I will. Don't you dare. But also, this is where two things in my notes. I think these are my best notes ever. First of all, at one point, they're fighting Craven, right? And at one point, she is trying to she takes her cloak off to fight the Craven, and like a Craven falls on her cloak, and Hawk Castile is like, get your cloak, and she's like, I can't, there's a Craven on my cloak. And I actually thought that was quite funny. But I felt in this moment like the Sex and the City meme. And so I said, as I was stabbing Craven, I couldn't help but wonder, is my Atlantean blood the reason I'm Craven him? And I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. Comment down below if you would buy my t-shirt.
I wrote,
go ahead. I actually screenshotted one of the pages of this chapter too. Amanda, and it's entirely what you were saying. But it says, you lie. And then he says, why would I lie about something like that? And she responds, because you're a liar, I reason. What? Why did I just spend 5 to 10 seconds reading that interchange?
Those are seconds you're never going to get back in your life.
Right.
I wrote, she's fighting him cute. Like she thinks she's going to why? Come on.
He's a he's a super powered vampire.
They kissed. I wrote
vampires.
They kissed in this part.
Okay.
And I wrote, Kim's going to hate that they kissed. I says she's half Atlantis. And then I wrote Tawny, because she mentioned Tawny. God, I love this book.
Yeah, I would feel way more like Kim was saying, we didn't hear about Ian very much in the first book. I would feel way more, I would believe it more if she was I got to get back to Tawny before she ascends. And we get a little bit of that, but she obviously, that's her bestie.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All right, chapter 5. The long, cold trek back to the keep begins, and Poppy is freezing until Castile literally warms her up. She hates how much she appreciates the comfort, but survival wins over pride for now. When they return, Kieran is waiting with his trademark dry humor, immediately needling both of them. The trio's dynamics, this is again chapter 5/6. Okay, whatever. Kieran's sarcasm cutting through the tension. Meanwhile, Poppy shows that even when she's shivering and exhausted, her spirit is unbreakable. And then moving into, I don't know what chapter we're on. This is where we find out that Hawk is his middle name.
Yes. I was going to say, that's sort of where the only thing that really happens is that I wrote is there's bathroom talk. Atlantis has running water, and he told her that Hawk is his family name. That's it. That's all that happened in that chapter.
Okay. But, Amanda, I think you're probably about to say this.
I want you to say it.
His middle name is Hawk Throne.
Oh, I thought it was Hawkthorne.
I thought it was Hawkthorne also.
Oh my God, it is Throne.
It's Hawkthorne.
Is it really?
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Oh my God.
It is the worst name. I have raged about the Remingtons and Covingtons and Wellingtons and Seagulls and whatever fucking else is out there. But Hawk Throne takes it.
It's so bad that
I can't even.
My brain literally switched it and made it Hawkthorne.
Me too.
At least Hawkthorne, I was like, oh, it's one letter away from Hawthorne, because again, everything she does is one letter away. No, it's 2 letters away from Hawthorne, because it's Hawkthrone.
And as we find out later, the fucking throne trope, which I'm starting to get tired of, but literally put it into his name, and I'm mad about it.
His name is Hawkthrone, and it's terrible. All right, so this revelation stuns Poppy because it means not everything between them was a lie. For once, she feels the truth beneath his words, sensing his deep sadness and honesty. It's a vulnerable moment that cracks through her defenses. Only Poppy could throw shade 1 second, then unravel centuries of secrets the next. Legendary.
Yep.
Thank you.
Was that chapter 6? Or 5?
That says chapter 6, but that was chapter 5. But chapter 6, chapter 6 is the lore chapter. So chapter 6 is where things actually happen. So he's like, I am Hawk and I am Castile. These are like masks that he wears, that he puts on. We don't even know if there truly was another maiden. He definitely didn't kill the other maiden. So here are my notes verbatim. Okay, so we don't know if there was a maiden, but if there was a maiden, she was either used to feed Cass's brother or in the same way as his brother, feeding the Ascended. So why is Poppy the maiden now? They want to use Poppy to make more vampires. Why wait? There's no ascension for you. Atlantean, ascend. Mortal, vampire. Half Atlantean, vampire feeds on other vampire, brought to the brink of death, not aware they were being turned. So this is where I text Rick.
Mm-hmm.
And I say,
Oh,
okay,
you're pulling it. Nice.
I have it. Okay, so vampires drink mortal blood, and when the mortals are drained of blood, they become vampires, and then they feed them Atlantean blood. Am I getting that process right? And Rick said, wait, I thought the humans became Craven. And I said, OMG, I don't know. And he said, this is so good. And I said, I'm so confused. And he said, I love this book. And I said, stop trolling for a second. I need to understand. And he said, I'm borderline not trolling. I think the humans who are fed on to the brink of death become Craven. And I said, the Craven is when they don't give them Atlantean blood. So vampire eats mortal. Mortal is almost dead. Mortal becomes Craven, or they're given Atlantean blood and then they become ascended, which is the vampire. You can't become Atlantean. You either are or you aren't. It's like a species, more like an ethnicity. And Atlanteans need to drink blood, but they can control their bloodlust. So the vampires need Atlantean blood to make more vampires. And then Rick fed it into ChatGPT and gave me a bunch of stuff.
And
so I
basically
said,
you're right.
Mortal minus blood equals Craven. Mortal minus blood plus Atlantean blood equals Ascended / vampire. Atlantean, maybe she's born with it. Ascended, maybe it's Maybelline. So Poppy being the maiden means that they were keeping her safe and pure until she came of age to see if she was either going to be an Atlantean whose blood could be used to turn more mortals into vampires, or an Atlantean whose blood could just be fed to Cass's brother Malik, who's currently their like captive vampire creator.
Yes, Kimberly.
Okay, so my wondering curiosity here is about like what kind of population are we talking about? Because it seems like they've made her like the maiden. And it's like, are we ascending like 5 people at a time? Or is this like a population of thousands? And therefore, there feels like there's probably more than one half Atlantean out there and or Atlantean that they could capture that could serve in this role. So I was very confused as sort of like question of scale here as to like how many people are we talking about?
Segale?
Segale?
A question of Seagull? Yeah.
Also, okay, this is an aside, but I sent both Amanda and Rick earlier a listing of a adoptable dog in Ohio who was named Seagull by the ASPCA in Ohio. They, on the second slide that I didn't send you guys, listed the pronunciation of the name for Seagull, and it's like Sky Gull. And I was like, that's even worse. You are so wrong. You do not deserve to have named this dog this at all. Anyways, that's my aside. That dog is named Seagull.
It's a good dog.
My notes are chapter 6. He says you can ask her he said to her that you can ask me anything you want. She had free reign to ask him anything she wanted about him, family history, anything. And she asked, was it real between them? I'm like, yes, girl, that is the one that you wanted to ask. Good for you. I said, so what do they want Poppy for? I was confused like you, Amanda. I don't know why I wrote this. I think Cass said it. He said, Poppy is the definition of appropriate. I wrote, she's so annoying with, he's Hawk, now he's Castile. I'm like, no, he's both. And I laughed because the way that she was acting about sharing a bed, and then at the end she was like, oh, he needs to go to his side of the bed. Did I just say his side of the bed?
It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I have similar questions of scale, Seagull, Segale. Um, I get the sense that she's definitely not the only half Atlantean out there, but I think they knew she was half Atlantean because she was bitten by the Craven and
That's right.
didn't turn. And so I think they were like, "Oh shit, let's just take this
Hold
one."
on to her. Yeah.
But I do wonder, like, you know, who have other maidens been? And like, I think that's a good question. So we're on chapter 7, I think, and
There's nothing here.
nightmares from Poppy's traumatic past come crashing back. She's having nightmares about the Craven. Castile comforts her in an unexpectedly tender way, revealing pieces of his own horrors and the years of torture he endured because he was originally the juice box. The walls between them drop, if only slightly, as they share this raw, painful honesty. It's one of the times we see real empathy and understanding between them. Poppy's strength shines here, not just in surviving, but in letting herself be vulnerable without losing her fire.
That's right, Fireheart.
More importantly, Jennifer uses the word rivulets here, which is a Taylor Swift word. Taylor Swift invented it in the Tortured Poets department in My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys. We get some backstory, and we've named a town Pompeii.
Yeah.
In the first book, we named a town New Haven.
Craven.
Why are we famously naming towns after other famous towns? Pompeii, very famous town.
It's up there.
Like one of the most, maybe, historic.
It's up there. Yeah.
And Rick, this is also where the tree bears are.
Tree bears. We have tree bears.
Like, what the fuck was that shit?
It's a tree bear.
It's like a mongoose. Like, what is it?
We got tree bears, guys. A tree bear sighting.
Okay,
She's like, there's an animal, and I think it's cool. And they're like, the tree bears? Like, what? My only note for this chapter is also she uses whatever as a comeback way too often.
Yeah, I don't have nothing here. You got everything. He killed the queen and king back in the day. He's cast as a tree bear, and then we remember the Duke. That's it. That's all. Where'd she go? I'm going back and forth in my notes.
Yeah.
I love the good tree bear reference.
Also, like when she was like, I can't remember the name of this animal, and he was like, tree bear. I was like, you couldn't have come up with something better than tree bear.
Like it could have been anything,
right?
You know, like
It
just a
could have
made
been
up word.
Casteels, you know, like it could have been some stupid thing, and so she was like the most obvious. The tree bear.
I love tree bears.
Amanda, welcome back.
Thank you. We're done talking about tree bears.
So what happened was my dog threw up,
Oh.
and she just threw up again, but this time on the carpet. So I got to go deal with that. But we're on chapter 8. If somebody wants to read the notes,
I read notes because I have them, and Kim doesn't, or maybe she does.
I have them ish. Go for it.
All right, here we go. Locked away in her room, Poppy is going stir crazy and absolutely done with being treated like a prisoner. Her interactions with Delano, oh yeah, he's the guard outside, with Delano guarding the door adds some humor, especially when he insists it's the wind instead of her shouting. That was good. Castile's absence gnaws at her despite her protests. This chapter captures her relentlessness and frustration paired with flashes of humor, and Poppy being snarky even while trapped proves she's unstoppable. Walls that cannot walls can't contain that sass.
Yeah, I mean that basically describes it. I have no notes for this chapter other than just being, yeah, I'm like, she's railing against the fact that she was stuck in her room, and then this being a shitty 5-year-old.
I have some notes. They add a new thing called changelings. So there are changelings now, which are basically Mystique characters, I think. Like, right? You can just change into whatever you want. She calls him a giant oaf at one point, which was ridiculous. Let's see. They seem to care that her last name is Balfour.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe something with there.
Right. They were like, oh, that's an ancient name.
Right.
So, okay. There's some further ties to Atlanteans, yeah.
And then I wrote this phrase that she said that Poppy says, because it's just so like not fitting of where they're at. She says, "I'm smart like that." And I'm like, oh my God, like top tier writing. And then my last thing is I need someone to explain bloodlines and generations. Like if her parents are Atlantean, they're like, she's first generation Atlantean, she's second generation Atlantean. What is that? Like, I don't understand. I don't actually care,
So
but those are my notes.
They don't know is part of
this
it.
this is where we find out all the different types of Atlantean, and we find out that Cass is an elemental Atlantean, which means he's like pure blood, basically. And I need all of our listeners to understand that there are 7 different types of classifiers in American Sign Language. And elemental is one of the types. And this week I was teaching the 7 types and going through the 7 different types with my students. And so I texted Rick and was like, there are 7 different types of Atlantean: woven, elemental, semantic, body part, descriptive. And
I laughed.
This is an incredibly niche joke, but and now I feel like I have to stare at her. My woven is ill.
Suck it.
She's fine. She just probably ate some fuzz in her toy and then shouldn't have eaten it. Okay, so yes, are there other notes? Okay, so elementals are purebred. They were created by the deities. The deities are the children of the gods. First or second gen are mortal blood with 1 Atlantean parent.
It's like a fucking Pokemon.
If they're more than that, then they don't have Atlantean traits. So it's like elemental, first gen, second gen. The later gens don't need blood to survive. There's also a changeling, which many believe is a deity and a woven together. And somebody else, he's Castile Denier, and somebody else is something to something, because we're done, apparently.
They said, Kieran said that there were other bloodlines that they haven't yet sort of like talked about and explored. So I'm assuming we're going to find out she's an even different bloodline.
Right. At this point, I'm making the prediction that she is a different, quote unquote, extinct bloodline that's not quite extinct. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Can we jump into chapter 9?
Let's do it.
Kieran steps in with a lore dump about Atlantean. We just talked about this. Atlanteans, bloodlines, and changelings, hinting that Poppy might not be as ordinary as she thought. He teases her while explaining abilities and lineage, raising questions. Then, just as things get interesting, Castile makes a dramatic entrance, cue more racing heartbeats and tension that Poppy pretends not to notice. Poppy steals the show, though, because the idea that she might be tied into ancient bloodlines just screams main character energy. Okay, but what actually happens is the deeper conversations continue, peeling back layers of Atlantean history and what it means for Poppy's identity. She's grappling with the unsettling possibilities about herself and what role she might play in this larger conflict. No, that's not what happens. What happens is bear rats are back.
Yes. No, bear rats have been. Yes, bear rats are back. Bear rats are back.
They're rats the size of bears.
Small bears.
They're back, baby. So we've got bears, cantankerous bears, tree bears, bear rats.
Yep.
Also, we learn, I think this is in this chapter also, about the heightened senses. That's this chapter.
That is what I was just about to say. Please share with us, Kimberly.
So we learn that Castile Hawk Throne here, Castile Hawk Throne Denier, to call him by his full legal name. Because he's an elemental, he has heightened senses, so he can see further and he can hear better, and also he can smell better, and so he can smell when somebody else's senses are heightened. And so when Poppy, our dear friend Poppy, sees him and is like, I am faint now from looking at him, and so excited, from being able to gaze upon his person, apparently he can smell her arousal.
And she was very embarrassed.
Which, ew.
So ew. Yeah. What else happens? I wrote Kieran as Lucian because everybody needs a buddy. And this is where the steam billows out of her ears.
Steam billowed out of her ears in this chapter. So like good.
A cartoon. And this is also where she does a gesture. Rick, can you tell us about the gesture?
I would love to. She says, and I quote, I did something I saw Ian do once. I've seen the guards do it before too. I gave him a foul gesture. It was the middle finger.
And look, we've had a lot of vague, vulgar gestures in our time, but it's really thrilling to finally hear one described.
She's named it. She's named
She's named it.
Guys, again, we are 12.
Yeah.
And in the 7th grade, giving people the middle finger.
So good. Okay, but in serious actual plot in this chapter, yeah, we get some. He's like, I have to take you somewhere and show you something. And so he takes her to this like crypt, basically, which is like an underground site of names scrawled on walls of people that have been lost to the Ascended. So either they became Ascended or they were killed by the Ascended, but they are people that are no longer with their families who are being memorialized by their families. And so I don't know if this was intentional, but there's a synagogue in Prague called the Pinketh Synagogue that has a Holocaust memorial that is like this. And it's one of the most, I've seen a lot of Holocaust memorials because I am a Holocaust educator. And it's one of the most moving memorials I've ever been to. It's just names and names and names on walls. And so I actually thought that this was, again, this is my issue with this book because I love the story and I'm so interested in the lore. And there are these moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so impactful that he like showed her this place. And he's like, I can't just tell you about it. You have to see like the vastness of how many people have been lost. And this is in the same fucking chapter where she gives him the middle finger and there are bear rats that are rats the size of small bears. And it's like, what is this book?
And she's like, whatever, as I come back. Yeah, exactly.
It would be so much easier if the whole book was whatever, right? But like the fact that we have this really beautiful like memorial moment, I'm like, wait, no, it could be good, but it's not good.
This is also the chapter of steam was built out of her ears.
It's insane. And then while they're in this memorial place, she's like, then why do I have to marry you? Like, just tell me. And he again doesn't tell her. He tells her.
I thought he told her.
He tells her like a chapter and a half later.
Really?
Yeah, in this moment, I wrote, okay, but why won't he just tell her what he's going to do with her? And then for chapter 10, I wrote, okay, so tell her. So there's still a moment where he doesn't tell her until midway through chapter 10.
Because I wrote in this chapter that she agreed to marry him to help them both.
Not yet.
Oh, I did. You know what? To be fair, I also got mixed up at this part with chapters. So you're probably right.
So one of the things that I noted also, so on my Kindle, the set of chapters were 208 pages for me. And we were all the way through 171 pages before this whole like question of like, why are we marrying? And like, I don't want to marry you, was resolved. And I was like, we spent what was in essence, I think it was like 22% of this book arguing about whether they were even going to move forward with the marriage or not. And it was a lot.
Look, she's got to fill pages if she's going to write 9 books.
So 2 things. I really appreciate how different notes we take, Amanda, because you did this whole, like you got into the lore, you did all this stuff, right? And I took this note of a quote that I believe Cass said. He says, I make a mean snowball.
I liked the snowball fight stuff.
And then my next, so where you took the notes about the other stuff, my very next note was like, oh, there's so much talking.
To be fair, my notes just say frog because I knew what I was going to say about it. I didn't write out all of that, but they also say, where is Tawny with a crying face?
The beginning of my chapter 10 notes, which you'll talk about in a second, is she's still talking.
That's really what's happening.
There's so much.
All right, so chapter 10, the deeper conversations continue. The dialogue with subtext.
This is just the marriage conversation.
The notes aren't actually helping me at this point. Let's see what the other notes say. Okay, so Castile tries to explain his intentions, admitting that he never asked for trust or forgiveness, but for her to hear him out. He reveals the tensions in Atlantia, the scarcity of land, the resources, the unrest among the Wolven that complicate their lives. Poppy presses him about whether her capture accelerated those problems, realizing the broader stakes. Their conversation shows the growing weight of politics and survival beyond just their relationship. Poppy remains wary, but curiosity begins to cut through her anger. Some other things happen in this chapter.
Do they?
He talks about a monster called a Lamea that has tails.
Oh, yeah.
Has fins for legs and tails for arms. My notes say dibs for legs and tails did send because I typed it so quickly and angrily. It's insane. Like, why are we even talking about that? And then he says, Atlantia rose from blood and ash, and now we are a kingdom of flesh and fire.
Yes.
Are you fucking kidding me? And so this chapter ends. I did say the banter is better in this book. I don't think it's good, but it's better.
It's not good. It's not good.
And then it ends with her being like, do Atlanteans have the custom of a ring? And he's like, yeah, kind of. And she's like, then where's my goddamn rock?
And she's like, I want the biggest ring.
And he says, I will get you I didn't write this down, but he says, I will get you a diamond that's so big it enters the room before you do, which I thought was perfect.
Also, Tristan, go back and take notes.
What?
He's not listening. No, Tristan's not listening.
Rick, go back and take notes.
I, in fact, would not want a diamond so big that it enters the room before me. I explicitly wanted not a solitaire, chunky diamond that stuck off my hand. I wanted something flat. And so if you, like me, are interested in that, you should look into rose-cut diamonds rather than brilliant cut diamonds because they're flat on the bottom so they can be flatter. That's not a thing most people care about. It's a thing I cared about. All right, chapter 11. Travel.
Wait. I have one more note for this chapter.
Yikes.
Ruh-roh.
My note is, I think she's so annoying because we hear all of her dumb thoughts. Like she said, hey, this bread is tasty. I shouldn't have let him have it. Like, we hear her dumb thoughts. We don't normally hear the dumb thoughts of characters' heads. We
hear a lot of Violet's dumb thoughts.
But these are worse.
Like I said, this is the inner monologue of a 12-year-old.
And
how old is she actually? She's like 19?
I don't know.
But again, so is Violet, right? Violet's like 20?
Before you read the chapter 11 notes, can I read my note? Can I read my notes for chapter 11?
Yes.
Because I've got two. So much of nothing has happened. It's just a retelling of what has already happened. You may continue.
My notes for chapter 11 say, Kieran is his puppy, and lap sitting is back, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Travel preparations begin, and Poppy is confronted by the harsh realities of life outside Solus. She begins to see the loyalty Castile inspires in others, even when she resents him. Her sense of isolation persists, though glimpses of her own agency emerge. She weighs her lack of trust against the possibility of using the situation to learn the truth about her brother. The chapter is this. That's not what happens. Okay, so we find out that she was like, wow, Kieran, why do you know so much about him? How are you so connected to him? And apparently, like, Wolvens bond to elemental classifiers and to elemental Atlanteans. And so he's his puppy.
I wrote that he is his Umbra.
Oh,
that's cute.
Umbra. I miss Umbra.
Right. So he's his familiar in some ways. Not part of his soul necessarily, but same kind of thing.
I miss Umbra.
Without the adorableness, and can talk back far more than Umbra could.
That's true. Umbra just, I think, has expressive ears, probably.
And eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, so this guy, Alistair's coming back, and so they're all sitting at this dinner with Alistair, and they all sit down, and Poppy has to sit on Cass's lap.
She does. That's in chapter 12. Are we on
I
that?
just want to put it out there. Look, to each their own. I don't think I've ever really enjoyed sitting on a lap in my life.
Correct. It's not comfortable.
Maybe like as
Comfortable for me.
As like a child. You like sitting on laps?
No, I like
You like when someone sits on your lap. Got it.
No, but your leg falls asleep. Like it's not actually comfortable in the long term. Like it's cool for like 30 seconds, and then you're like, now we're both just uncomfortable.
I did just have this.
Your leg falls asleep. Like none of this is good.
I did just have this moment though where Rick was like, I like sit. Like I thought Rick was saying he likes sitting on laps, and I need people listening to this podcast to know that Rick's wife is like 4'10", just like a teeny little thing. And so the idea of Rick sitting on her lap is very funny to me. And then I was like, oh, maybe he's like enjoying snuggling with his daughter. And then I was like, oh my God, Rick sitting on Ara's lap is actually even funnier. Rick, please don't sit on your wife or daughter's lap. They're small.
Right.
I don't understand lap sitting. I just think we've evolved past that as humans. You can snuggle next to each other. Like, why do you need to sit on each other?
There was no chair for her. He was the chair.
The only time you need to sit on somebody's lap is in an Uber when you're
Yes.
trying to shove too many people.
Yes.
She had to sit on his lap because he was the throne.
And even then, like, I don't know, if you're over 35, just get a second fucking Uber, man.
Okay, here's my point. Like, this is not a trope, but the one throne needs to be a trope. The one bed in the inn is a trope. And at this point, we have read so many throne scenes that this is just its own thing.
I agree. If one horse is a trope, one throne is a trope. We're here.
I saw a great Instagram reel about the one horse thing from the horse's standpoint the other day.
God.
It was great. The horse was like, rules for engagement.
Where are we right now?
We're at the end of chapter 11. We're moving into chapter 12.
Okay.
So Alistair's here. They're having this like dinner.
Also, I genuinely meant that because I was very confused. I wasn't going to push it along.
Cass keeps rubbing her inner hip.
Oh, yeah, with his thumb.
I wrote, quick question, what's an inner hip?
He like shoved his finger inside her, like inside of her hip.
In her like sacroiliac joint.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
At this point, I
chiropractic as well as like
these notes are not useful, so I'm just gonna read my notes. I wrote, she's not like other girls. This is also where she learns that Cass, as the prince, is going to be king, which apparently she didn't fucking know.
He's a prince. He's
a prince, and his brother is a juice box. What did you think was going to happen? So then Alistair is like, let's go for a walk and talk. And Cass says, that's my future you're walking away with, which I thought was very Hallmark movie of him. And I wrote, Alistair reminds her of Victor, and she won't shut the fuck up about it.
Clearly something there.
She's got oh no, Cass has an ex. My notes say there's always an ex, Shea Coulee, because the ex's name is Shea.
Okay.
And we already had Adore Delano, the guard outside the door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Poppy reminds Alistair of his dead daughter, Shea. And Alistair reminds Poppy of her dead father figure, Victor. We're all looking for analogs here. So he's like, hey, if you are being forced into this, just say the word and I will help you escape. And she's like, nope, I'm good, actually. So my notes say this guy is going to betray them all. And it's going to break my heart because I think I could grow to like him. And we also learned that her parents are named Coralina and Leopold. Cora and Leo, which I actually thought were nice names.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of in Bride? The dude that actually like turned on them because the vampires had held on to his son.
Jeff.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't Jeff.
But he had also been the person who had been like on guard and like seemed like a father figure, and then was like the one who like turned on them.
Yeah, I'm Googling it. Hold on.
George.
This wasn't that many books ago. I should remember this.
Pride.
It was like we never saw him coming, but that's what I'm concerned about with Alistair here.
Johannesson. Zayden.
Mick.
There
we go.
The character list, Mick says, again, spoilers. Mick says, a character forced to betray misery due to his son's captivity.
There we go, right?
I went on a little
And a lovely father figure, and nope.
I went on a little tangent with my notes here. I told this to Amanda already. But first, I wrote, she's sitting on his lap, and she loves it. Then I wrote, they're talking. Then I wrote Alistair's. Cass used to be engaged to.
Shake away.
Yeah. He's good. I said he's good for now, but I like where you said he's bad. Okay, so here's where my tangent goes. I'm going to ask if he's the guy. The guy.
I hate this so much just before you even talk more because you already told it to me and I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
What, Alistair?
Let me get through my thought process. So I wrote, I'd ask if he's the guy, but he's giving off daddy vibes, and I don't think that's where we're at yet, but you never know. Then I say to myself, wait, did Feyre love Tamlin because she had daddy issues? Like, her dad, like, never protected her, and, like, she was, like, looking for, like, protection in her life. Those are my thoughts. That's my tangent that I went on in my head.
Okay, they all have daddy issues. We know that. We've talked about this before, how, like, nobody has an intact family.
And neither do, like, it's the Disney character syndrome, you know?
Right.
Like, that, it's not allowed.
Right.
What, not both parents?
Like, Alistair's going to die at some point. He's the next father figure that's going to die.
Yeah, he's either going to die or he's going to betray them.
Yeah.
Or both.
So my actual real notes when I got back on track was I wrote that someone was there when her parents died talking to her dad.
Yes.
And then I wrote, does Alistair know her mom? Because there seemed to be a connection.
Right.
So.
I agree. And he was like, we can ask around when we get back to Atlantia. But he also was kind of like a little bit cagey and weird about it. So, yeah, I do wonder if he knew who they were.
And then I was like, did Alistair know her mom?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did.
Yep.
He sat on his lap.
Oh.
One throne.
One horse.
But that would explain why she reminds him of a father figure and he reminds her. No, you know what I mean? That would explain why she's like his daughter.
Yep.
Because she is.
All right, so those are chapters 1 through 12.
Oh, and they keep saying like one of her parents must have been an Atlantean.
Right.
And then they keep being like, unless those weren't your real parents.
Dum dum dum.
All right.
We call that foreshadowing in the business.
That's it. I don't have any more thoughts.
Those are chapters 1 through 12, guys. We did it. And you know what? I'm here to say it. Still better than the Night Circus.
Yeah. I'm at least enjoying this. Like, it's fun to be mad about it.
It's such a fun book.
And it's a really fast read. Like, when we were deciding if we wanted to read this next, we were like, okay, we're going to have to read, like 200 pages next week. And Rick was like, oh my God, I can't do that. And Rick finished first.
Yeah, I crushed it. I couldn't stop reading it. I was like, give me more Poppy.
It's like a 4th grade reading level.
I know. I love it.
Guys, I will say this is going to make Rick sad. But I saw this Instagram reel yesterday about like it's okay to DNF books, and it was like from a romantasy standpoint. And I opened up the comments, as you do, and the first comment, which was then like a huge thread of comments, were people being like, "Oh man, I really should have DNF'd The Night and the Moth."
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah. And so many people chiming in to be like, oh, I'm totally with you. Like, that book fucking sucked, man. And I was like, oh.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That was funny. I thought you were going to talk, or I thought you were going to say this series. Lots of people DNF this series.
Yeah, it's like on the rage read list.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild when you just like, I like seeing people's difference of opinions, like drastically difference of opinions.
One of the books, I think it's not next, but it's next on my TBR. I'm trying to like organize it in an order that makes sense. Is When the Moon Held the Tides, and that is like incredibly divisive, right? Exactly. That's incredibly divisive on the subreddits as well. So I was either telling you that I loved it or hated
it. Real quick, how are we feeling on this book? I'm loving it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
4 stars right now for me. I'm just having a lot of fun. I'm not saying it's good. I'm having fun. Like
Yeah, I'm having a good time.
summer blockbusters aren't good movies, but they're fun as hell.
Yeah, no, I
I'm
don't
not
think it's like
as
that.
right. I'm not. I think the first time around, like Rick hyped up from Blood and Ash so much that I was like, this is going to be an amazing book. And so at least this time around, I'm like, I know what we're getting into, and so I can level set better.
Yeah,
So we're good. We're
I'm
rolling.
having a good time.
We're vibing. Yeah.
Having a good time.
What
What
are
else
we
are you
reading?
reading?
I said it first, so you have to go first now.
Okay. Well, I just checked my currently reading. I am listening to My Big Fat Fake Marriage, which is by Charlotte Stein, who wrote When Grumpy Met Sunshine, which I loved so much. And so I wanted to listen to this book. And it took me until a third of the way through the book to realize that they're in the same universe and the side characters are the characters from When Grumpy Met Sunshine. So I'm so sorry to Mabel and Alfie that I forgot their names, because I loved that book and said that it is like one of my favorite books I've read this year. And then I forgot their names. But I didn't forget anything about them. So I re-listened to that chapter once I realized it and was like, of course, that's who she's talking about. So I'm listening to that, and I'm reading Junie by Aaron Crosby Eckstein, which is like historical fiction, magical realism about a girl who's enslaved on a plantation in Alabama in the 1860s, and war is coming. And she's the daughter of the family who she's like the maid to is about to get married off, and she's also trying to like solve some magical mystery. I don't know. I'm a third of the way through both books.
Nice. And you like it?
Yeah, it took me a minute with Junie, but I think I'm into it. I'm invested in the characters. Like I like Junie. I like the main character. I think there's like a lot going on. Like it's historical fiction. It's like, rewriting the narrative to center the experiences of a person who was enslaved. It's first love. It's running away. It's magical realism. Like there's just a lot happening here. And so I'm really like, I think it has the potential to become too much. And so I kind of want to see, it's a debut novel. So I kind of want to see where it goes before I really say how I feel.
There, Nick.
All right. Kimberly, book?
So I've been at a conference for much of the last week, so I am proud of myself for finishing these pages in time, because I haven't had a lot of time to do much of anything. But my two things that I am starting, one is going to be Crescent City Part 2, now that I finished the first one. And then the second, and this is like so uncharacteristic of me, but I am going to read a nonfiction book. Say Nothing, which is about Northern Ireland. So recommended to me by a college friend, who was like, no, it's nonfiction, but it's like so centered in personal narratives, and really interesting. And so, yeah, I'm going to try it. Try to branch out from.
Please report back, because that is very up my alley if you decide that it's good.
Yeah.
I am reading Crescent City Part 2.
What's it called?
Crescent City Part 2.
Got it.
It's a house of
oh my God.
What is it?
It's a house of something and something.
I saw a meme that was like, was it one of you who sent it? That was like, it's disturbing that a bowl of mac and cheese fits the formula for a fantasy title.
It's a house of sky and breath.
Oh, fuck, man.
Yeah, and so the each of the book titles is there are different houses. So it's not like an ACOTAR where it's like a tale of this and that. Like that has nothing to do with the actual book. Oh my God. These there are actual different factions. So I'm reading part 2, and it took me whatever. It's starting off like book 1 where I'm like, what's going on? Mainly because it starts from a completely different character.
No.
I'm like, why are we doing this? And it's the prologue, but once the prologue is over, we're back to the main character. So I'm like, okay, we're back. But I'm enjoying it. Like I'm very invested in the series, so we'll see where it goes.
I forgot to add, And that must be why Socket's barking. No, she's barking because our neighbor dog is in the hallway, and that's how they communicate. I did finish A Heart So Fierce and Broken, which was what I was reading last week. But the most important thing that I've read is that yesterday I watched the whole first season of Succession. Nope, Severance.
Oh,
Very nice.
Severance,
nice.
not Succession. That's like the third time I've done that today. Mixed up the names of the shows. I watched the whole first season of Severance and I loved it. And I haven't really enjoyed watching anything in a while because I've been a book. And so I might have to watch the whole second season before I can be a book again.
All right. That makes sense.
I got to bounce back and forth, so I understand.
All right. Well, Amanda, yes, that was my next question.
Our homework is to read Akafaf chapters 13 through 23. That means stop when you see chapter 24.
Got it. I can do it. 10-4. 10-4. All right. Thank you everyone for watching and or listening. Hope you're enjoying this book as much as we are, because it's great. Bye.
Bye.